Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. This is going to be my new Batman video. We just found out about some really cool Michael Keaton Batman deleted scenes from Crisis on Infinite Earths because of some new publications. So we'll break it down. There's a ton of Easter eggs, so if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the videos. We'll do a new Amazon giveaway. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber and leave your favorite Easter egg for Batman from Crisis on the video. There were already a bunch of Batman Easter eggs and cameo scenes that made it into the final cut of the episodes, but some of these scenes that hit the cutting room floor are mind-blowing. So number 5, recently a bunch more deleted scenes and details from Crisis on Infinite Earths were revealed. The producers said that they reached out to almost every single movie and TV actor who had played a major DC character, like Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern. You get the idea. Yes, they even reached out to Ryan Reynolds for a Green Lantern cameo scene.
You're welcome, Canada.
They were really trying to get as many big iconic versions of their most popular DC characters, going all the way back to the Adam West 1966 Batman series with the Burt Ward cameo scene. They went for some super deep cuts.
But the time for preparation is past. The crisis is now upon us all.
Holy crimson skies of death!
But when it comes to Michael Keaton deleted scenes, it was actually going to be a big part of the storyline that he would have been involved in. It would have been way more than just a brief cameo scene. So I'll explain what that alternate storyline would have been had he appeared in the episode. Michael Keaton obviously making the rounds again as the Dark Knight because of all the DC movie news in the Flash Flashpoint movie. I've already made a couple videos about that, but Michael Keaton is coming back as his older Batman from the multiverse inside the Flash movie, and he's going to cross over into other future DC movies, but he's playing an older version of his Batman from the Tim Burton movies, the Burtonverse, as most fans call those movies. So number 4, everybody saw the version of the Michael Keaton cameo scene during the opening scene of episode 1, Crisis on Infinite Earths featuring Batman's Earth 89, because that was the year his first Batman movie came out.
Because now the entire multiverse is about to come under attack. There is a malevolent force at work, one driven by a singular goal.
I hope you're watching, big guy.
So that was Robert Wuhl, who played Alexander Knox in those Batman movies. He worked for the Gotham newspaper, and that's why he's reading the same newspaper from the movie with the headline, Batman Catches Joker. One of the first Michael Keaton deleted scenes would have been paying off this alternate newspaper headline here, Wayne Tech CEO Bruce Wayne to marry socialite Selina Kyle. The picture looks like it's supposed to be sometime after the events of Batman Returns. The funny thing about Michael Keaton appearing in the Flash Flashpoint movie as the older Batman is that they're actually supposed to be sort of sidestepping the Joel Schumacher Batman films in explaining what Keaton's Batman has been doing since the ending of Batman Returns. So obviously in this first deleted scene, they would have addressed that in some way. I also think they were going to use this to link his Batman to the Birds of Prey series from the early 2000s, because they had a big cameo scene with Huntress during that too, and Oracle Barbara Gordon. She was only on the comms, but this was the actress that played Batgirl on that series. There's a new version of Batgirl that's going to appear on Titan Season 3, but they haven't started filming that yet. The version of the Huntress on that series was the daughter of Batman and Catwoman. There were some other details during this first Batman scene, though, that were a little off, some continuity errors and inconsistencies. I think it had something to do with the full version of the new Michael Keaton Batman deleted scene and what that was supposed to be, too, because that was going to be in a completely different episode. Some of you probably noticed these the first time the episode aired. The symbol shining in the bat signal isn't Michael Keaton's Batman symbol. It looks more like a combination of the Batwoman symbol mixed with the Batman Beyond symbol, but this is what the Batman Beyond symbol looks like, so that's not what they're going for. We don't know what year this is supposed to be, but if they were going to include this younger version of Batman in this other part of the scene, then I'm assuming that this is meant to take place right after the events of the first or second Batman movie, and that's why he's reading the newspaper that says Batman Catches Joker, because he caught the Joker in the late 80s if you're assuming that that movie took place in 1989. My assumption with the weird Batman symbol is that it's probably because Michael Keaton backed out. Warner Brothers probably told them they weren't allowed to use Keaton's Batman symbol. And outside of a Batman cameo, a Joker Easter egg would be the biggest thing that you can include. So they probably just said fudge it, nobody's going to question it that much, they're just going to enjoy seeing Batman and Joker stuff on screen. It's the multiverse, and they could be vague about what year this is taking place. Number 3, the second huge Michael Keaton deleted scene is actually much bigger, probably cooler, because it would have been a big story arc during Crisis. There were new materials from the production that were released this past week as part of a new Crisis book that they're selling for the production, with a bunch of original art and storyboards showing Michael Keaton as a Kingdom Come Batman Beyond version of the character. It just blows my mind. How cool would this have been had they been able to include him in the actual episode this way? Don't get me wrong, Kevin Conroy is amazing as Batman. I love that he got to play a live-action Batman finally, even though I wasn't super happy with what they did with that version of Batman on screen in the story. But it's clear now from all these details that what they originally intended on doing was giving that whole storyline to Michael Keaton's Batman, and either he would have had 2 cameo scenes or they would have rearranged things and he would have just been part of this one episode in this huge storyline with the Paragons. But in episode 2, instead of traveling to Earth 99 for Batman Beyond Easter egg, they would have just traveled to Earth 89 and it would have been mostly the same story. Because look at the Batcave here. It's a combination of a bunch of different classic Batcaves. The consoles here with all the buttons on them that look like they're old-timey are from the Adam West 1966 Batcave. But look here, underneath this tarp is the Michael Keaton Batmobile from the first Batman movie. So clearly they had been planning on doing Keaton Batman the whole time. Now there was a lot of other stuff that they included as part of the Kingdom Come Easter eggs, so they never referenced Superman or the Justice League during the Keaton Batman movies, but in context, this older Batman had killed his Superman and his Joker as well as the rest of his rogues gallery of villains, so he was kind of the darkest timeline version of Batman. Like his quote says, "Battle not with monsters lest ye become a monster," which I believe was a Batman v Superman quote. I don't know if I would have liked to have seen Michael Keaton as a darkest timeline Batman. As it stands, I wasn't really happy with the darkest timeline Kevin Conroy Batman, when his Batman from the animated series is probably one of the most nuanced and righteous versions of the character. Remember from Batman Beyond in the first episode where he essentially hung up the cape and cowl because he was forced to resort to using a gun because he had a heart attack and that was the only way he could defeat the villains. Then you have Darkest Timeline Batman who just mowed through every single villain and a lot of the heroes, it sounds like, too.
Clark. Clark always said yes to anyone with a badge or a flag. He gave them too much power. My parents taught me a very different lesson. Life only makes sense if you force it to.
But I think what was happening at the time is Michael Keaton was probably in early talks with Warner Brothers to come back in the movies as Batman, so that probably hurt the chances of them actually pulling off Michael Keaton during Crisis on Infinite Earths, and the producers said that they didn't get any extra budget for casting, for cameos, or anything like that, so a lot of the actors that they went to, the movie actors, did ask for money that they couldn't pay, or they just had really big scheduling problems and couldn't actually make the days that they wanted them. So yes, they did reach out to Henry Cavill, Superman, Ben Affleck Batman, Gal Gadot, Wonder Woman, Christian Bale's Batman. Even though they all said no, they were able to get Ezra Miller, which is probably one of the best surprises of the whole crossover. Now you can say that the Justice League DCEU movies are canon to the Arrowverse multiverse. Hopefully we'll see Grant Gustin cameo in the Flash Flashpoint movie next year, even if he's only there for 2 seconds. It'd be really, really cool. But number one, Michael Keaton is supposed to show up in that Flash movie. The news reports about his crossover make it sound like he's not going to be in the entire movie, but because his new Batman contract has him crossing over into other future DC movies, eventually doing a Batman Beyond movie, hopefully, they'll probably have some sort of post-credit scene with him that references continued adventures across the multiverse, or he'll get stuck on the main Earth of the Justice League movie, or they'll have some loose Flashpoint explanation so that he doesn't have to jump back and forth between Earths every single time he shows up in a new DC movie. They're only loosely basing the plot of the Flash movie on Flashpoint. It won't be exactly like the comic book Flashpoint. And just to be clear, they're not replacing Ben Affleck's Batman with a Flashpoint twist. So Michael Keaton will still be a different Batman. Ben Affleck will still canonically be the Batman of this Earth. Robert Pattinson's Batman is also not going to replace Ben Affleck's Batman either. There's a whole lot of Batman that's going to be flying around next year, so it's a good time to be a Batman fan if you are a huge fan of the franchise. There might be a couple small Flashpoint details that they use to retcon things, but it's not going to be like them just erasing Ben Affleck from the timeline. So people that are worried about that or want Ben Affleck to come back, don't worry. I did just do a new video about his Batman because of all the reports lately about him coming back to do Batman stuff for the Justice League Snyder Cut. So you can actually click here to watch those, and you can click here for that brand new Stranger Things Season 4 trailer. Thank you so much for watching. Everyone stay safe. I'll see you guys tonight.